There are certain things, if you tell a man too early, or if you tell the wrong man, you don't just open up, you actually give him the blueprint to play you. And I know that you're a good woman. You want to be honest with him. You want to be real. But the truth is, every man is not safe enough for you to be honest. So today I'm going to walk you through the things you should never tell a man. And more importantly, why it backfires on you every single time. And listen, I don't want you to skip this. You need to watch this till the end, because the last one is one that I live by. And I'm not just telling y'all what I heard, I'm telling y'all what I know. And before we get straight into it, I want to hear from you. What is one thing that you would never tell a man? Let me know in the comments. Number one, you're not going to tell a man what you are looking for. And I know this probably sounds crazy because you've always been told communicate your standard. You've been told to tell a man exactly what you want out of him. But let me explain something to you. When you tell a man exactly what you want, you give him the open book answers to a test. And what happens when people have the answers to a test? Y'all write the answer in the comments. Yeah, that's right. They pass. Not because they were the right person, but because they had all of the answers. So now he's not showing you who he truly is. He's showing you who you wanted him to actually be. And this is how a lot of y'all are getting love bombed, because you fall for the version of him that actually studied you rather than the version of him he actually is. And by the time the real version of him shows up, you've already gotten emotionally attached to him. So you should never tell a man exactly what you're looking for. And one of the answers that I've taught my students in the Life Academy is when a man asks you what you were looking for, I'm about to give you all the gems. Here's your answer. I'm about to, what the kids say, T? Yeah, you show me and I'll tell you if that's what I'm looking for. And then you smile. And that's exactly how you're going to do it. Very, very simple, okay? You've joked with him, but you've also let that man know, I'm not giving you the answers around here. I want you to show me exactly who you are, and then I'll believe it. And what this communicates is she's not going to just give me the answers. He's going to have to show you exactly who he is so that you can figure out and determine if he's actually what you want. Because again, you want to make sure that you are not setting yourself up to be played. And so the next one, you never want to tell a man that nobody loves you, you don't have friends, or that you don't talk to your family because you're a loner. And I have seen the girlies do this one. And trust me, I get it. Some of y'all have been through a whole lot. I know that. I acknowledge that. I see it. But I'm going to hold your hand before I say this. Before you start dating, I want you to go to therapy and I want you to heal. Because what I don't want you to do is start attaching to people who are meant to take from you, not actually to help you build in life. And if you don't become a whole person, you will attract a broken one. All right, I'm gonna give you your hand back. Because what happens a lot of times for women is when you find a safe man and you've only known brokenness, or a man who pretends to be safe, you will then open up, not realizing that you are actually opening up to, and I'm gonna just say how I gotta say it, the devil. Because what happens is a lot of men don't think, oh, let me love her better. What that actually communicates to most men is, why haven't people loved her? And whether you like it or not, people are going to meet you where you present yourself. If you present yourself as somebody who doesn't have to be loved, you don't have to be respected, you can't be surprised when he feels like he doesn't have to love nor respect you. And so this is why number 3 is also important. You are never going to make exceptions for any man, okay? That is a grown man. If his mama didn't raise him, then he needs to go back to her. One of the most valuable lessons that my mother actually taught me, and I'm going to pass it on to you, is that you need to take a man at face value. If he's not what you are looking for in a man, you need to be willing to walk away. You don't have to put together a plan to change him. And this is where a lot of women make their mistake. They think they can change another human being when they can't even change themselves. If it takes you a lot to get disciplined and change yourself, how much more do you think it's going to take that man? You are not Bobbiana the builder. So stop thinking that you can build a man. It does not work. It actually leaves you more drained. Because the reality of it is, who he is showing you is who he's going to be throughout that relationship. And so you got to either take it or leave it. And I get it. Because you meet a man that you like and sometimes your standards can start bending. You'll say things like, I can't stay mad at you, or, you know, it's okay. I understand, you're different. Girl, no, don't do that. Because in your mind, you're being kind, but in that man's mind, I want to tell you something. He's learning how to push your boundaries. He's finding out what you will and will not put up with. And soon enough, he's going to start disrespecting you. And it won't happen overnight, but it will be little by little that you see that he starts to change. And then you're going to wake up one day and say, how did I get here? It's because you decided to entertain a man that you knew you didn't even really want to accept. And this is why I tell people, even sometimes, depending on where you are in that relationship, you don't even want to tell that man you're so amazing, right? Because sometimes what those men will hear is you're below my standard or I don't deserve you. And girl, we're not doing that. And what you darn sure don't want to do is tell that man that he could find better. And I know some of the girls have said that, like, oh, I don't deserve you. You could do so much better. No, you can't. Baby, this is top shelf over here. Let me tell you something. I am an already made woman who is looking for her husband, who will respect her husband, who is her husband's peace, who is coming not with baggage, but I'm coming to assist your vision. Y'all better know who you are. Don't you dare ever look down on yourself as a woman. And I know this ain't no woman's pep talk, but I got to give it to you for a second. I need you to know that you are phenomenal in all your ways. And I'm not saying that I want you to be arrogant, but what I'm telling you is you have to have confidence. If you do not have confidence, then that man is going to see that. And let me tell y'all something, right? Men are like lions in the jungle. They're going to go after prey, right? And so you eat up the one that you think is weak and feeble. But the one that you see stands on business, the one that you see is actually like a lioness, that's the one they court. That's the one they marry. That's the one they mate with. So are you going to be prey for them to eat, take advantage of, or are you going to be a lioness and stand in your femininity? You make the choice. You decide. But you can't get mad if that man plays you when you decided that you were going to be the one who is literally the feast. Smarten up. Because I want that man to think, here's the thing that we don't talk about a little bit. And, you know, I'm probably going to get canceled on the internet, you know, when I say this. But men need to be a little bit afraid of you. And I'm not talking about beating them up. I don't believe in domestic violence. Let me say that and let me wave my little finger. I don't believe in that at all. Women should never put their hands on a man. I'm not talking about that type of fear. But what a man should know is at any point, she could walk out of the door. And if she walks out of this door, she's not returning. If she walks out of this door, any man that's outside would be lucky to have this woman. That's the mentality you need to have. Why do I say this? Because that healthy fear says to a man, let me not play with her. Let me not play with her time. She's an amazing woman and I need to show up as an amazing man if I'm gonna stay in her life. Because you need to make it clear, listen, you're auditioning for a spot. And again, I'm not saying this is where you will stay. I'm not saying that this is where you want to live your whole relationship out. I believe in healthy relationships. But when you're getting to know somebody, you need to put boundaries up. You need to be able to say, you know what? Let me see who this person is. Is he consistent? Is he honest? Is he integral? Who are you? Are you hardworking? Whatever you're looking for. But when you don't do that, that's when you're going to start seeing this man slip. That's when you're going to start complaining, saying he used to take me on dates, but now he doesn't want to take me anywhere. He just wants to Netflix and chill. Well, why did you tell him the house was an option? Never tell these men those things. The house is not an option. You can get to know me outside. Let's go hiking. And it don't got to all be around food. You could take me to dinner. We could go get ice cream. We could go do several things that don't involve me sitting in the house watching a movie with you, Netflixing and chilling. Because the reality is, if we're watching the movie, we should not be talking. So what are we talking about as women when we have this idea of we can just stay in? No, you can just stay in the house, sir. I'm not staying in a house. What are we doing? And I'm not playing house for you. Now, I do teach women that it is okay to cook for your man, but don't start cooking for community property. So eventually you can get to the stage where you cook for a man and he comes over and y'all have dinner and you talk if you want to do all that. But in those first beginning stages, you're not doing any of that. That's not your job yet. No, ma'am. If he hasn't made it exclusive and y'all just figuring things out, he can go figure things out at McDonald's. Anything else is not your responsibility. And I want y'all to write that in the comments. Not my responsibility. And so these are the things that you never tell these men. Because if you tell these men those things, you will get played. Another thing that I want y'all to stop doing is telling these men your insecurities. He doesn't need to know that. That's none of his business. Because here's the thing. In the beginning, he might be supportive, but then in the end, it may be the things he uses against you. Don't start making it where like, he's like, yeah, babe, you know, I just love, you're like super insecure about your weight. I just love your weight. I just think you're the like beautiful, you know, most thing that has ever walked this earth. And then when that man gets mad at you, he gonna tell you that you need to lose a little bit of weight. Y'all better be careful. Do not use these men arsenal against y'all. Now, again, I'm talking about in the beginning. When you meet a man who is safe, when you meet a man and you have determined that this is your partner, this is who you want to spend time with, then these things don't apply necessarily to you. But I'm talking about never tell men these things that you are not committed to. It's none of their business, right? Think about it like this. The government has clearance. If you only have level 1 clearance, I cannot talk to you about level 7 things. What does that mean? You don't have the proper clearance for that type of intel. These men who are just getting to know you, they are not your partner. They don't need to have this type of intel. It's none of their business. They don't need to know that at 7 years old, your uncle did X, Y, and Z. That's none of their business. They don't need to know that you are somebody who doesn't know how to show up like it's none of their business. Like whatever your things are that is none of their business, keep it none of their business. And so I hope that this really taught you it's time for you as a woman to move differently. You want to find an effective way of dating? These things right here will help you to do that. And again, if you're struggling and you're like, Alice, I don't know how to date. I don't know why you haven't picked up the dating reset. Go grab it in the pinned comments or the description box, or finally sign up for my community. It is a group of people who are learning how to do life and do it effectively. If you like the conversation we had here, we have more of those in the life community. So make sure you go ahead and you sign up.